Hello there. I'm Scotty. You're not. Hold on a minute. Sound off here. Welcome back to Dis-Cember. We're on day 20, day 19. Excuse me. Day 19, and we're looking at the 1998 remake of The Parent Trap. Now, full disclosure, never seen the original one. The only thing I know from the original is the Let's Get Together song that was on the Disney sing-along songs tapes back in the day. Plastic bag. That's all I know. What's a garlic salt? I was like, what's in the bag? That's what I know about it. And they don't sing it in this, but Lindsay Lohan does sing a little, let's get together, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's about it. That's all she does as she's going to the elevator in this. Lindsay Lohan, when this came out, this was the first thing that Disney Channel really covered a movie. This was the first in not a long line, but a short line. I guess it was a long running series, but it didn't have a lot of episodes, just sort of showed up every once in a while. They would cover a Disney movie and go through behind the scenes stuff, excuse me. And it's called Movie Surfers, is what it was. And like a group of teenagers were brought in to go behind the scenes and look at stuff for the movie. And so I remember watching this Parent Trap special. I actually recorded it to a VHS tape back in the day. I remember watching it a lot. And then, yeah, Lindsay Lohan, before she was big time Lindsay Lohan, is playing twins, Hallie and Annie. And if you've seen the original, you've basically seen this version only. It's a very different version, I guess. I've never seen the original, but you know what I mean. What it is Hallie and Annie both separately go to they are twins that have been separated at birth. I had no idea about it. And they meet up at a summer camp and realize, they look exactly alike. Their birthdays are the same. And they find this picture. One has a picture of the mom, one has a picture of the dad. They put it together and they realize they're sisters. So they hatch this scheme to switch places. So they have to cut the other one's hair, pierce the other one's ears, and mostly Annie. And then they have to pretend to be each other. And go switch places because the mom is British and she lives in England. The dad lives in Northern California in a vineyard. And so they swap places and have to convince the other one in an attempt to eventually get their parents back together. And so, yeah, we start off the movie with this weird love is for the way you look at me. That song that's in a lot of rom-coms, I think it's supposed to be how they met. They met on a ship, I guess, and they ended up getting married. And the way the relationship is explained is that they just felt it's one of those love at first sight, fell in love on a ship thing. It's one of those things where it wasn't meant to last. Maybe it wasn't something they wanted, but I guess she ended up being pregnant when they got divorced. So they split the two kids and never told them about the other one. I don't know how realistic that is. I mean, come on. You wouldn't tell your daughter she has a sister that's living halfway across. Well, you wouldn't try to figure out some other way. No, you just, But then again, what is this big thing, big convergence that happens that they both end up going to the same summer camp for girls, and there was one boy there. And I did like it. He was like, I thought this was a boys' summer camp. They're like, boys, and laugh. I don't know. The hosts of the summer camp are the Marvas. Marva and her daughter Marva Jr. Girls aren't juniors. Only boys are. I've never heard of a girl with the name Junior. I always associate Junior with boys. But yeah. And there are two sitcom veterans. I think Polly Holiday, is that her name? She was Tim Allen's mom on Home Improvement. And then the other one, Janice from Friends. I don't remember her actress's name. Maggie Wheeler? Is that her name? Top of my head. But yeah, they're the Marvas. And it's a typical summer camp. Pee on me? My mouth gets dry during reviews sometimes. Usually I take a drink before I start. But I've been bringing a bottle with. There, leave it off. I don't want it on. I don't be like, hey, a bottle. So, yeah, and there's camp shenanigans, right? With the whole pulling pranks on each other, and then they're forced to stay in the same cabin. And I this always confuses me because this never works in real life. You got a problem with someone, and they always instead of separating you, they force you to do stuff together. It never works in real life. I had a coworker. We're good friends out of work. He used to hang out outside of work, but when we were in work, he had this whole attitude where we're at work, we can't talk about stuff that's out of work. We have to talk about work. We have to be concentrating on work, which I understand. But he was and maybe, I work at a place for people with disabilities. Maybe that was part of his disability is he had to separate home and work. And so he had to think of work, but he took it way too literally. Like I couldn't talk about anything. Did you hear about the wrestling? I'm working right now. I work all day. Okay, that was his excuse to begin an argument, and his big excuse was, I work all day. I'm not telling you his name, but I work all day. That's the way he said it. I get it. You work all day. But that was his one big argument. I work all day. Like, okay. I don't know. But we'd get an argument. And we kept getting put on the same cruise, and it wasn't working. It wasn't working. We were having more problems, but they would not separate us. Same thing with like another coworker I have now, where he frustrates me, but I don't have as much problems with the other guys that do this one. But we keep saying we want to switch him with another coworker, but they won't listen. He just keeps coming back all the time. He frustrates us, but But yeah, I've never seen it work in real life, at least from my experiences. But here, they do become closer, and they, it kind of works. And they realize they're twins, and so they decide to switch places. So they got to learn, like, Annie has a special handshake thing with Martin, her butler. Which, by the way, the butler didn't drive the limo. There's someone else driving the limo, and he got to drive in the back of the limo. I don't know. It's really weird. Really weird. And then Annie has to get her ears pierced and her hair cut to look like Hallie so they can swap. And they have to swap accents as well. Which, I will say, Lindsay Lohan, pretty good with the accent swap. It's a thing. And I remember seeing how they did it. They did a screen thing where they filmed her doing one role, and then they filmed her doing the other one, and they composited them together. And even now, in 2022, it looks pretty good. I mean, we were watching Moon Knight, and they did the same thing with Oscar Isaac, having two of him on screen at the same time, and it still looks good. Like you can, same. I think it's the same kind of technology in it. Both 1998 and now look really good. So, not bad. But Annie goes back to the vineyard with her dad. Hallie goes back to London with her mom. And their whole thing is to try to figure out how to get their parents back together. But Annie discovers that while Hallie was gone, in the 8 weeks that she was gone, their dad met, fell in love, and is going to get married to this woman named Meredith, played by Elaine Hendricks. By the way, the dad is played by Dennis Quaid. The mom, Natasha Richardson, I think is her name. And, yeah. And here's the thing. They have a nanny, named Chessie. Growing up, I thought it was Jessie. It's Chessie. Chessy. One, that's not a name. I don't know. Chessie is not a name. But also, I thought she was the same woman that played Julie in Rocket Man. It's not, but the actress just looks similar, but it's not the same actress. Twin thing. They're not twins, they're not related, but they look similar. I always thought it was the same actress, but it's not. Well, of course, Annie's thrown off by this, and so she has to call Hallie, and eventually their hijinks draw the ire of Martin, the grandfather, and Chessie, who realize that it's not them. So they set this whole thing. They're going to meet at this hotel. Hallie tells her mom what's going on, but they don't tell the dad. because if they told the dad, I think maybe it would go way out of control. Now, this movie is 2 hours and 8 minutes long, I think it was. And I don't know, I don't think it needed to be that long, but even being that long, the ending does feel kind of rushed to me. Like, so, I do this thing where they meet up at the hotel. And, like, he has no idea she's going to be there. She does know he's going to be there. And it all comes together. He falls in the pool. And then, this is Meredith. We're getting married, the whole thing. And then the girls decide to pretend to be each other so they can't figure out which one is which. And so both the girls go on a camping trip for the four of them. There was a camping trip that was supposed to be her and the dad, but all four of them are going on a camping trip. But then the mom is like, oh, why don't Meredith come along? And then she doesn't go. So it's them and Meredith, and the kids just sort of sabotage the Meredith thing before Meredith, her plan, and this is the stereotypical plan for movies like this about the snobby girl who wants to marry the father for money. As soon as I marry them, the kids are going off to being shipped to a boarding school. And so she's like, after all the problems the twins caused, she's like, it's them or me. What's it gonna be? It's like, them. What? Like, still surprised that he picked his own daughter. Them. T-H-E-M. And so then they go back and he's all mad. And they go on one little date thing. And then she's like, it's just not going to work out. And so the mom and Annie, they go back to London. And by the time they get there, both Hallie and the dad have made it there. And they say if they take the Concorde and get there in half the time, that's just a lame excuse. I don't know if that really how it works, but that's a lame excuse for them to get there before them. And then they just get together. And it's like, really? There's really no, like, most of the movie is hijinks and the goofy stuff at the hotel with them bumping into the different girls. And the mom is drunk. Meet me upstairs. So, do what the woman says and meet her upstairs. Yeah, it's just hijinks until the end when it's like, I wish they would have concentrated more on the relationship and why they broke up. They don't really give a reason why they broke up. If they did, I missed it. Like, maybe it just wasn't working out. They never really explain it. Like, I would like to them. I know it's a kids movie, so you have to have the whole thing. But I would like to maybe explore the relationship of the parents just a little bit more, and maybe dial down the goofiness a little bit. I don't know. And it is a stereotypical story of, we're going to do this, but my dad's married to someone else, we got to get rid of her, sort of thing, and by the end they get back together. It's a stereotypical rom-com type of story. I've seen it done in other places. Now, I haven't seen the original. It's weird. I haven't seen the original Parent Trap, but I saw the Parent Trap 2. Yeah, I know it's weird. I saw the Parent Trap 2 on the Disney Channel back when I was a kid, because I thought it was a sequel to this. And then I put it on, and I'm like, no, this is the sequel to the other one, but I still watched it. And it was, what was it? If I remember correctly, these two girls who are not related at all, they think that their mom, one girl's mom, one girl's dad should get together. So they hire the aunt, who is the sister from the original one, to come in, pretend to be her sister, to seduce this guy, and to try to marry the other one. And then, yeah. I don't know. It's really confusing. But, yeah. Hayley Mills is also a better actress than Lindsay Lohan, I'll tell you that much. She was great in that. I was a kid, but still. This is also, I'm going to say this is pretty good, because I enjoy it every time I watch it. I had the VHS. I should have brought that out. It's all the way in there. I had the VHS. But yeah, I have a good time with it. I just think that, I don't think it's too long. It might be too long, but also not long enough. There's just not enough exploration, may I say, into the relationship. We don't really understand why they broke up. They just did break up, because that's what has to happen for this movie to happen, I guess. But I don't know. But it's still fine. Fine watch. But yeah, so what are your thoughts on Parent Trap from 1998? I'm going to comment, so make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Okay, so this is 8 o'clock in the morning that you're most likely watch this when it goes live. 3 o'clock today I'll have my first Christmas review, but here's the thing. I'm not recording my Christmas reviews until I get trying to get at least the ones for this week recorded, but if I get them done early enough, I can go into the next week and try to get those done too, and I'm going to try to just get all the Christmas ones done over the weekend. But I guarantee you will have a Christmas review at 3. It's just not going to be recorded in the same night or the same time frame as the others. So this beard might be a little bit longer. I might have shaved this off. But hey, Christmas, keep this on the beard, you know? Who knows? I kind of like this. Bugging me a little bit, but I kind of like it. I can't go to mustache. That bugs me. Anyway, thank you for watching. I've been Scotty. Oh, next movie. Animated film, Michael J. Fox. Maybe need something a little sporty. Maybe like a tuna. Who knows? But anyway, till then, make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.